Welcome to Crushed Husband. Please like the video and subscribe. Let's begin.
Christmas morning. I walked into my in-laws' farmhouse expecting ham in the oven, cinnamon rolls on the counter, and someone yelling at the dog for stealing wrapping paper. Instead, the whole place was dead quiet. No food, no music, no laughter, just cold air and awkward silence. I stepped into the dining room, and there they were, Dana and her best friend, Tori, sitting at the table like a couple of smug prosecutors. No one else in sight. The table was empty except for a thick folder and 2 glasses of untouched wine. Dana didn't even flinch. "Merry Christmas, Caleb," she said like it was a damn joke. Tori gave me this twisted little smirk, flipping open the folder like it was a party favor. "Let's not drag this out. Dana wanted to serve you with these in front of the whole family, but..." She glanced at her phone. "Change of plans." I looked down. Divorce papers, already signed by her. My chest tightened, but I didn't show it. I pulled out the chair, sat down across from them, and gave Dana a long look. She wouldn't meet my eyes. Tori leaned in, enjoying every second. "We had a bet," she said. "I said you'd beg. Dana said you'd cry. Guess we'll find out who wins." I didn't blink. I picked up the pen, signed the bottom line, and slid the folder back like it was a damn restaurant check. Then I pulled a sealed envelope from my jacket pocket and set it right on top. Dana's eyes locked onto it. "What's that?" I smiled, "Not the warm kind. Your real Christmas gift. Quick note. Before listening, share which city or country you're watching from." Tori narrowed her eyes. "What the hell does that mean?" I stood up, pushed my chair back in, and looked around the room. "Funny thing," I said. "I came here expecting a holiday dinner. What I walked into looks more like a setup." Tori grabbed the envelope but didn't open it right away. Her hand was shaking just slightly. Dana had gone pale, completely still, like someone just flipped a switch inside her. I didn't stick around to explain. I buttoned my coat and turned toward the front door. "You'll want to read that carefully," I said over my shoulder. "Might change how this day ends." And with that, I walked out into the snow, leaving them at the table. One shocked, the other sweating, both absolutely clueless about what I just dropped in their lap. 3 months earlier, if you'd asked me how things were going, I'd have said we were just in a rut. Married 7 years, work stress, normal ups and downs. I told myself that kind of thing passes. I woke up every morning at 5:30, hit the gym, then ran operations at a warehouse in Dayton. Long days, sometimes brutal, but steady work. I liked the order of it, trucks in, trucks out, boxes where they should be. Life made sense there. At home, not so much. Dana had quit her job in marketing to find herself. Said she wanted to pursue her passion projects, though I couldn't tell you what the hell those were. One week it was abstract painting. Next week she was writing a cookbook for busy wives. Then nothing. Just wine, naps, and disappearing for hours with no answers. She started dressing different too. Not just tighter clothes. Louder, bolder, like she was headed to a club, not the grocery store. Nails done. Hair blown out every other day. She'd leave the house smelling like perfume I didn't recognize. I asked once and she said, "Why? You don't notice anyway." She wasn't totally wrong. I'd been working a lot, but I noticed now. I kept trying to bridge the gap. I'd cook dinner some nights, salmon, her favorite, and she'd text last minute that she wasn't hungry. I'd plan a weekend out, and she'd roll her eyes like I was offering her chores. Then Tori started showing up more and more. Always with a bottle of wine. Always with a little dig at me wrapped in a smile. "Oh, look at you playing house husband," she'd say while Dana laughed. Or, "Still wearing those busted steel toes, Caleb? Classy." I'd laugh it off at first. Then I stopped laughing. The two of them would sit out back on the patio, sipping drinks and giggling over God knows what. If I came out, they'd go quiet like I wasn't supposed to hear. Tori would just smirk and say, "We're having girl time, Caleb. Go watch your little sports show." She talked to me like I was a child. Dana never corrected her. One night I asked Dana if she wanted to go out. Just us. Nothing fancy. Grab dinner, maybe walk around the park like we used to. She didn't even look up from her phone. Not in the mood. Another time, I brought up marriage counseling. Her eyes went flat. You think I want to sit in a room and talk about how unhappy I am for an hour? That sounds awful. Then what do you want? I asked. She shrugged. Something different. This isn't working. I stood there, stunned. So that's it? You're not even going to try? She gave me a tight smile and walked away. From that point on, I stopped recognizing my own wife. She came home late, locked her phone, laughed louder with Tori than she ever did with me. Even the way she moved felt staged, like she was performing for someone, and I was just a piece of furniture in the background. I'd lie awake at night, staring at the ceiling while she scrolled through her phone, turned away from me in bed. No good night, no touch, just cold silence. I didn't want to believe it. I told myself maybe she was depressed. Maybe she'd figure things out. Maybe I just had to ride it out. But every day, I felt less like a husband and more like a roommate. One who paid the bills and stayed quiet. That night started like the others. Dana said she was going out for girls' night with Tori. No details, no explanation, just perfume and red lipstick and the sound of her heels clacking down the stairs like she couldn't get out fast enough. I was halfway through a leftover meatloaf sandwich when I saw it, her phone. Left on the armrest of the couch. Unlocked. Screen still glowing. First, I just stared at it. Dana never left her phone behind. That thing was glued to her hand, even in the shower. But there it was, buzzing every few seconds like it was panicking without her. I told myself not to touch it. I really did. Then it buzzed again, 5 straight times. Curiosity snapped into something harder. I picked it up. It was a group chat, titled Operation Fresh Start. First thing I saw was Tori texting. He's gonna fold like a damn lawn chair. $100 says he cries at the table. Another message popped in right after. I say he begs. His eyes do that little puppy thing when he's desperate. I scrolled up. My heart started pounding. Dana had been sending messages for weeks. Every line felt like a knife to the gut. Caleb's so clueless. I could run away with the mailman and he'd still offer to drive me to the airport. He's like a domesticated mutt. Loyal, dumb, and completely house-trained. Tori replied, "Don't feel bad. This is evolution. You're leveling up." And then, Christmas morning, serve the papers cold. With wine. Dana, we'll record it. I want his face when he realizes I planned the whole thing. I sat there frozen, her phone burning in my hand. My jaw locked so tight I thought I might snap a tooth. These weren't just jokes or venting. This wasn't a mistake. They'd been planning it. Christmas. In front of her family. Just to watch me fall apart. This wasn't cheating. This was an ambush. A performance. And I was the idiot they cast as the fool. I set the phone down like it was poison. My mouth was dry, palms sweating. I wanted to punch something. I wanted to scream. But I didn't. I went to the kitchen, poured a glass of water, and stared out the window at nothing. Rage hit first, but under that, shame. Pure, thick shame. How long had I been sleeping next to someone who hated me? Not just disappointed, disgusted. And she'd made it a game. I thought about the dinners I cooked. The nights I'd rubbed her shoulders while she ignored me. All the times I blamed myself. And now I saw it for what it was. A setup. I walked back into the living room, picked up her phone again, and took photos of every message. Screenshots, dates, names, everything. If they were going to treat this like a game, I wasn't playing defense anymore. They thought I'd cry. They thought I'd beg. They bet money on it. Let them. I took a slow breath, calm for the first time in weeks. Christmas was coming, and they had no idea who they were really dealing with. I didn't sleep that night. Just laid in the dark, staring at the ceiling while Dana snored next to me like she hadn't spent the past month planning a public execution. At 7, I called in sick. Told my boss I had food poisoning and wouldn't be in for a couple days. I sounded calm. Too calm. By 8, I was on the phone with Ray Ortega. Ray wasn't cheap, but he came highly recommended by a buddy of mine from the gym who used him during a nasty custody case. Retired military police, zero patience for BS. He picked up on the second ring. Ortega. I told him what was going on. Gave him the highlights. Wife's planning a staged divorce ambush, might be cheating, definitely lying, and I had screenshots to prove it. Ray didn't waste time. You available this morning? Yeah. Good. Bring every receipt, every bank statement, every gut feeling you got. Meet me at Denny's off I-70 in an hour. Corner booth. That was the whole call. I printed everything I had. Grabbed the file cabinet from the hall closet. Even pulled the last 3 years of taxes just in case. By the time I slid into that sticky vinyl booth, Ray already had his coffee and a notepad open. He was built like a cinder block, broad shoulders, buzz cut, no smile. Just nodded at me and said, "Let's see it." I laid it all out. Monthly statements. Random cash withdrawals Dana claimed were for self-care. Hotel charges listed as consulting retreats. One credit card I didn't even know existed with my name on it. Ray flipped through the papers like he was scanning blueprints. No reaction, no small talk. After 10 minutes, he spoke. "She's been moving money." I nodded. "I thought so. I just didn't want to." "Stop." He didn't even look up. "You knew something was off. Don't second-guess it now." He scribbled something down. "That card? Opened 2 months ago. Used at a boutique hotel in Cincinnati. Guess who checked in under her maiden name? Dana." He nodded once. "She had the front desk change the reservation last minute. Paper trail's messy, but not gone. I'll get the logs." He kept going, fast and cold. "She's pulling cash in small amounts. Not enough to trigger red flags at the bank, but consistent. Same time every week. Same ATM." I leaned forward. "What does that mean?" "It means she's prepping. People do that when they're trying to stash money. She's either paying someone off, funding a new place, or trying to disappear without leaving a lump sum behind." The blood in my neck went hot. Ray sat back, arms folded. "This isn't just cheating. This is fraud. You're listed on an account she's using to move funds you didn't authorize. That card in your name? That's identity misuse. So what now?" He met my eyes for the first time. "Now you decide how deep you want to go. If we keep digging, I'll find things you can't unsee. We're not just talking about hurting your feelings. We're talking wire fraud, credit abuse, maybe worse." I didn't even hesitate. "Keep digging." Ray gave a short nod. "Good. Because whatever they're planning for Christmas, it's not just personal. It's business. And if you don't flip this thing fast, they're going to walk away with more than just your pride." He tapped his pen twice on the notepad, then slid it into his coat. "I'll be in touch within the week." "And Caleb?" "Yeah? Start copying everything. Digital, paper, all of it. Anything she touches, I want a trail." I got up from the booth feeling like I just walked out of a war room. This wasn't a marriage anymore. It was a setup. And now, I was done playing the fool. Ray called me 2 days later. Said to meet him at a little Korean barbecue joint outside Columbus. When I pulled up, he was already inside with a woman I didn't recognize. She stood up, shook my hand firm. "Valerie Cho, journalist. I cover high-conflict divorce and marital scams." She sat back down, flipped open a laptop, and got right to it. "Your wife's not original," she said. "These stunts? I've seen them before. Fake separation timelines, coerced signatures, family ambushes. There's usually an HR angle involved, and a lawyer who plays dirty." Ray nodded. "Tori's background matches. Her firm's been flagged before, nothing stuck. But there's smoke." Valerie pulled up a flowchart. "I've been tracking 3 other cases. All involve a woman in HR, a shady legal connection, and sudden asset grabs just before separation. Each one started with emotional humiliation followed by financial wipeout. All under the radar." She looked me dead in the eye. "You're not just a target. You're a case study." I slid the folder across the table, screenshots, statements, recordings. All of it. Valerie started scanning. Her eyebrows lifted as she clicked through the photos. "Oh yeah," she muttered. "This is solid. Real solid." Ray leaned in. "We want to catch them red-handed. Christmas morning, you let them think they're winning. But you'll be wired. I sat back. How wired? Ray pulled out a tiny black disc size of a quarter. Mic under the shirt. Button cam on the jacket. Everything gets recorded. Me and Valerie will be parked nearby. If it blows up, we leak the footage and Valerie runs the story. Valerie nodded. National level. I've got outlets lined up. I didn't say anything for a second. My throat was tight, but my voice came out steady. Let's do it. After that meeting, I stopped reacting. I started preparing. First move, protect the business. Dana never cared about my side hustle with Omar. She barely listened when I talked about it. But we'd been growing fast. Consulting for mid-size warehouses, streamlining their logistics, helping them scale without burning out their staff. I drove straight to Omar's place that night. I need it all moved under the LLC, every asset, and remove my personal name from client billing. Omar didn't even blink. Done. Want me to loop in my brother? He's a contract lawyer. Yes, and I want it airtight. While Dana was out drinking wine and laughing about how I'd beg for mercy, I was locking down the one thing they hadn't even noticed. Leverage. Second move, legal defense. I opened a separate bank account, transferred my paycheck there, froze the shared card. I didn't tell Dana a word. I started making digital backups of every transaction, pulled phone logs, even requested a full credit report to flag any unknown accounts. Every night, while she showered or zoned out watching Netflix, I was on my laptop documenting. Quiet, cold, methodical. Ray checked in every couple days. Valerie too. They were building a timeline. I was building an exit. One night, Dana walked in and tossed her heels on the floor. "You're being quiet lately," she said, stretching like a cat. "Everything okay?" I smiled. "Everything's great." And in that moment it was, because for the first time in months, I wasn't lost or scrambling. I wasn't reacting. I was planning, and they didn't even see it coming. 6 months earlier, I stood in Omar's garage with a White Castle slider in one hand and a sketch of a warehouse map in the other. "I'm telling you," he said, "these places are bleeding money on basic stuff. Overstaffing, bottlenecks, outdated routing. I know. My place wastes 4 hours a day just on double-handling pallets." I said, chewing. "That's real dollars lost." That was the start. 2 guys with clipboards and warehouse scars deciding to turn our complaints into consulting. Dana barely noticed. I told her we were going to do some freelance logistics stuff, and she waved it off mid-scroll on her phone. "As long as it doesn't cut into your paycheck, do whatever." After that, she never asked again. Not once. Omar and I filed the LLC the next week. Separate from my name, separate from hers. No shared accounts, no paper trail pointing back to our marriage. We worked nights, weekends, lunch breaks, and it started rolling fast. By the time Dana was on her second passion project, we had 2 clients under contract and a backlog of leads. She didn't care. I'd come home excited to share some win. Maybe we saved a client 30 grand by restructuring loading docks, and she'd barely glance up. "Sounds boring," she'd mumble. Eyes locked on Instagram. That disinterest turned out to be the best protection I had. Omar brought in his lawyer brother to structure everything airtight. We documented everything, split ownership 50-50, and filed taxes under the business name. Every dime went into a separate business account. Dana never saw a penny of it. And then there was the house. She always thought we co-owned it, told her friends that, acted like it was our place. What she never knew, what she never even bothered to ask, was that the house was in my name only. My older brother, Chris, co-signed on the loan when we bought it 5 years ago. He'd just gone through a nasty divorce and warned me early. "Keep the house in your name," he said. "If anything ever goes sideways, you'll thank me." I listened. Dana didn't push it. She was too caught up in paint colors and Pinterest boards. 6 months later, her name still wasn't on the deed. All this time, she thought she was setting the stage to ruin me in front of her family. Public shame, emotional damage, the whole performance. She never realized the financial trap was already closing around her. Torai was no better. She always strutted in like she was the smartest person in the room, dropping those little one-liners like she was auditioning for some courtroom drama. "You better watch Caleb," she said once. "Guys like him, all quiet and steady. They're either hiding something or they're boring." Dana laughed, loud, like I wasn't 3 feet away. But while they were playing mean girls, I was taking notes, securing documents, checking logs, saving receipts. I wasn't boring. I was building. That confidence they mocked, that wasn't weakness. That was focus. And now it was changing. I felt it. In my chest. In my bones. I'd spent years trying to be the steady husband, the fixer, the provider. But now I wasn't fixing anything. I was prepping for a clean break. Quietly. Legally. Completely. They hadn't noticed a thing. And that was the last mistake they'd ever get to make. It was a Wednesday night. Maybe 9:30. I was upstairs, lights off, lying in bed with my back to the door. I wasn't asleep, not even close. But Dana thought I was. I heard her coming up the stairs, phone in hand, talking loud like she owned the house. "I just got out of the shower, hold on." Her voice echoed down the hall. She walked into the bedroom and sat on the edge of the bed like I wasn't there. Put the call on speaker. It was Tori. "So are you still doing it Christmas morning?" she asked, voice sharp and smug as ever. Dana gave a fake little sigh. "I don't know. It's kind of mean, right?" Tori scoffed. "No, it's perfect. You said yourself he just stands there, like a sad little porch dog. Men like Caleb always fold." They both laughed. I kept still, face buried in the pillow. My phone was under it, already recording. Dana said, "I just feel bad for his mom. She loves all that family holiday crap." "Oh, please," Tori said. "You're doing him a favor. He'll be too stunned to fight back, and by the time he gets it together, you'll already be free." "I still haven't decided on the exact moment." "Right after the prayer," Tori said. "Trust me, when everyone's quiet and emotional, then you drop the papers. Maximum impact." Dana laughed. "You're a psycho." "I'm strategic." They kept going, talking details, timing, her outfit, like it was a stage play and I was the clown waiting to get dunked in front of a crowd. Dana asked, "Do you think he suspects anything?" Tori paused. "Please. He still thinks flowers fix things. Just smile and play the part. Let him believe he's safe. He's soft." The audio caught it all. I didn't move until Dana got up and walked out of the room. I stopped the recording, saved it, and forwarded it to Ray without a single word. He called me 20 minutes later. "That's more than enough," he said. "We've got date, time, intention, and method. I'm filing for a preemptive court motion to secure your assets and block any sudden withdrawals. Valerie's prepping the article." I nodded, even though he couldn't see me. "Then we're greenlit." "You ready for this?" he asked. "Oh yeah," I said. "Let's give them the show they're expecting." I hung up, sat on the edge of the bed, and looked around the room. Dana's perfume still hung in the air. They thought they were about to break me, thought I'd cry, beg, shake. I wasn't doing any of that. I was gonna play it their way, right up to the moment they thought they won. Then I'd end the show, my way. Christmas morning. Dana kissed my cheek in the driveway before we walked up to her parents' house. "You look nice," she said, adjusting my collar like she still gave a damn. I nodded. "So do you." She smiled, all sugar and polish, like this was just another family holiday. Inside, the first thing I noticed was the smell or the lack of it. No ham, no cinnamon rolls, no coffee, just quiet. We stepped into the dining room, and the air dropped 10 degrees. Her parents sat stiff at the far end of the table. Her sister avoided eye contact. Her cousin gave me a half smile that died before it reached his eyes. And then there was Tori, sitting dead center, holding her phone like she was already mid-recording. "Morning, Caleb," she said, grinning. Dana tugged my arm. "Let's sit." She led me to the head of the table, not the usual spot, and sat across from me. Everyone else just watched. No greetings, no small talk, just a cold stare from every seat in the room. Then Dana reached into her bag and pulled out a folder. "This wasn't easy," she said, loud and fake like she was reading from a script. but it's something I've thought about for a long time. Tori angled her phone for a better shot. Dana opened the folder and slid it to me. These are the divorce papers. We've already made some decisions to keep things clean and fair. Clean and fair, right? I didn't flinch. Just opened the folder, skimmed the pages, and picked up the pen. Someone gasped when I signed. Maybe her aunt. Maybe her dad. I didn't care. Dana blinked. That wasn't the reaction she rehearsed for. Tori whispered, "Wait for it." I slid the folder back and reached into my coat pocket. "Before we move on," I said, "I brought a gift too." I set the sealed envelope on the table. Tori's phone lowered half an inch. Dana frowned. "What is that?" I looked her dead in the eye. "Proof." She didn't move. "Inside," I said, "you'll find screenshots of your group chat. Every message from Operation Fresh Start. Your little Christmas ambush, the bets, the recordings, all of it." Tori's grip tightened around her phone. I nodded toward her. "There's also photos of you two having lunch with your not-so-legal legal advisor. Bank transfers tied to credit cards in my name. Hotel stays under fake IDs. It's all in there." Dana went pale. Her dad stood halfway up. "What's going on?" I ignored him. "By the way," I said, pulling open my coat just enough, "you've been recorded this entire time. Mix under the collar, cameras in the button. Valerie Cho and Ray Ortega are watching from a car outside. Whole room's wired." Tori finally broke. "You can't do that." "Already did." Dana's voice cracked. "Caleb, wait." "We didn't." I cut her off. "Save it. This wasn't a conversation. This was a setup. You made it personal. I made it legal." She opened the envelope with shaky hands, and her breath caught halfway through the first page. Tori grabbed her phone and started typing fast. Too late. I turned to her mom. "Apologies for the drama. I was just here for lunch." Then I stood, straightened my jacket, and looked at Dana one last time. "You were right about one thing," I said. "This wasn't working." Then I walked out. Let them deal with the fallout. Let the silence drag. Let the envelope sit on that table like a lit fuse. Their show was over, and I'd stolen the finale. By the time I pulled out of her parents' driveway, Valerie had already hit publish. Holiday Hustle. When divorce becomes a heist. That was the headline. Her piece wasn't just a write-up, it was a wrecking ball. Names, quotes, screenshots, time-stamped audio, video stills. She laid it all out like a courtroom exhibit. Caught fire by noon. Reddit, Facebook, X. Group chats blew up. Everyone loves a scandal with receipts. Dana's photo, her smiling in front of her mom's Christmas tree, was plastered under the headline like a mugshot. Tori's face was in the body of the article mid-speech, holding that damn phone. The footage showed enough to make it obvious. This wasn't an emotional breakdown. It was a setup. The comments were brutal, sociopathic, weaponized manipulation. He played chess while they tried checkers. By dinner, Dana's inbox was a graveyard. Her lifestyle blog shut down. The remote marketing job she'd been bragging about? Offer rescinded. They didn't want the PR hit. Her own family turned on her within 48 hours. Her cousin messaged me to apologize. Said he had no idea what she'd been planning. Her mom called my phone crying, but I didn't answer. I didn't say a damn word. Not online. Not in person. Not even when a local news outlet picked up the story and blurred my face like I was some high-level whistleblower. Tori? She got it worse. An anonymous tip, courtesy of Valerie and Ray, led investigators to her HR firm. Turns out she'd accessed and weaponized internal data on 3 different clients. All men going through divorces. License? Suspended. Job? Gone. Future? Unraveled. She posted one of those vague, taking time to reflect statements on LinkedIn before locking everything down. And Marcus, the lawyer they'd been sneaking around with, scrambled fast. He made a public statement about distancing from unauthorized actions and shut down his practice before the state bar could drag him into court. Every move I made was quiet. Every win. Loud as hell, just not from me. In court, the judge barely blinked before siding with me. The house? Untouchable. My name only. The business? Legally clean, legally mine. Dana? Walked out with nothing but her name, her shame, and a permanent digital footprint she couldn't erase. She tried to file a counterclaim for emotional distress. Got laughed out of the room. I sat through the hearings calm and polite. Yes, Your Honor. No, Your Honor. Never raised my voice. Never took the bait. It drove her insane. She expected a meltdown, a scene, an explosion she could spin into sympathy. But I didn't give her a single headline. Just silence. That silence? It spoke louder than anything I could have said. Because when people saw her unravel publicly, while I moved on quietly, they knew exactly who she was. And more importantly, who she lost. 6 months later, I was sitting in the corner office of my own damn company. No boss, no clock, no dead weight dragging me down. Just Omar across the hall, 10 employees making things move, and a whiteboard full of client deadlines. We'd tripled revenue in the last quarter. Word got around quick that we were the guys who made warehouses run lean and fast without screwing over their workers. Owners liked that. So did investors. I'd moved out 2 months after the court closed the books. Got a place on the edge of town. Nothing fancy, but clean, open, quiet. No smell of her perfume in the closet. No memories in the walls. Just space. Mine. Every morning I woke up without the weight of her moods or the sound of Tori's smug voice in the kitchen. No games. No second-guessing. No tiptoeing. Felt good. Not exciting. Not euphoric. Just right. Even started seeing someone. Her name's Emily. She's a nurse, works long shifts, doesn't play mind games, says what she means. When I told her everything that happened, she didn't flinch or fish for drama. She just said, well, you didn't fold. That counts. We keep it simple. Coffee after her night shifts. Late dinners when I wrap client calls. She's calm. Real. No part of me feels like I have to perform for her. One night, we were walking back from a Thai place near her apartment, and she asked, "Do you still hear from her?" I nodded. Last month. One message. Emily didn't press. She didn't have to. Dana's text was short. Just one line. I wish we could talk. I miss who we were. I read it. Didn't delete it. But I never replied. Not out of anger. Not out of pride. Just because there was nothing left to say. Everything changed the moment I stopped trying to fix something already broken. I spent years thinking it was loyalty. It wasn't. It was fear of what it'd mean to walk away, to admit it was over. But once I let go, once I stopped dancing around the mess and started cleaning house, legally, emotionally, financially, I realized I hadn't lost anything. I'd reclaimed it. My name, my time, my peace.